Welcome to No Place Like Home, the radio show, coming to you on WRXB 1590 AM and Pinellas County Connection TV. This program is presented to you as an opportunity to hear information that can help you fulfill the dream of owning your very own home. We also share information about upcoming special events and programs to help you enjoy the good life in Pinellas County, as well as other items of interest. The sponsor of this program is the Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County, which offers the First-Time Homebuyer Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. I'm Carmen Lemberg alongside Jane Merlin, your host for today's show. Morning, Jane. How are you today?
Doing well, Carmen. And yourself?
Wonderful, thanks.
Good, good. You know, it's hard to believe it's already April.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
Where is this time going? It's just flying by.
Too fast.
And you know what April means?
What?
It's tax time.
Oh, how could I forget?
I hope you've done your taxes.
That's why I put it aside.
That's why you don't remember. You haven't done it yet.
No, it's all done.
Oh, it is done. Well, good. Well, for those who may not have done it, you want to stay tuned. We've got some really important and helpful information that could actually maybe even put some money in your wallet that you weren't expecting.
Wonderful.
So that's the little tease for the show coming up. We do have two very interesting topics to discuss today. The Earned Income Tax Credit, which I mentioned earlier. We're going to talk about how you might actually get more money in your wallet. A lot of people don't realize they've got a great benefit coming to them. But coming up, Eddie Burch is with the Juvenile Welfare Board. He's going to tell us what we need to know to make sure we do take advantage of this wonderful benefit. Also, April is Water Conservation Month, and Brian Niemann is with County Extension. He's going to be here to tell us how Pinellas County is recognizing this month. He's going to give us some great tips. Again, hopefully some ways to also save some additional money, and we always like that. But before we get into today's topics, Carmen, I know you've got a message from our sponsor.
Thank you, Jane. The Housing Finance Authority of Pinellas County is offering the First-Time Homebuyers Program, your key to home ownership, helping people in Pinellas, Pasco, and Polk counties make their dreams of home ownership a reality. The First-Time Homebuyers Program is for individuals who've never owned a home, have not owned a home in the last 3 years, or are veterans. The HFA offers a low rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage, and if you need a little help with down payment and closing costs, we can help you with that too, with the Home Key Second Mortgage. To get your key to home ownership, visit our website at www.pinellascounty.org/HFA as in Housing Finance Authority, or you can call us at 727-223-6419. You can also call us for more information or comments about the show at the same number. And again, that number is 727-223-6419. If you want to email us, it's newhome@pinellashfa.com. You can watch past shows on the website or catch us on YouTube. Jane?
Thank you, Carmen. That's always great information to hear about how you're able to assist people that may be first-time home buyers. And interesting, too, the definition of first-time home buyer may not necessarily literally mean that you're a first-time home buyer.
That's right, and that's the big difference here. If you haven't owned a home in 3 years or you're a veteran, we consider you a first-time home buyer, and you get all those great benefits.
Very good to know. And, of course, being that it's tax time, some people might be getting a refund and may want to apply that to a new home purchase.
Now's the best time to do that. Rates are low. You've got a little money in your pocket for closing costs. Houses are plentiful. Perfect opportunity.
Well, great. Hopefully those tuning in who are thinking about that will give your office a call and get started on that.
I look forward to it.
Well, it's my pleasure at this time to introduce our very special guest today. Eddie Burch is a communications and outreach coordinator with the Juvenile Welfare Board. Eddie works with the Pinellas Prosperity Partnership and joins us today to discuss a program that could put money in your pocket. Eddie has become a regular guest on the program during tax season and always has great information. Welcome back, Eddie.
Thank you, Jane.
Brian Niemann is an extension agent with County Extension and works in the Florida-Friendly Landscaping Program. He's been with the University of Florida for 7.5 years, and for the last year and a half, we've been fortunate to have him here in Pinellas County. Welcome, Brian.
Thanks, Jane. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Eddie, we're actually going to start with you and have you tell us about the Prosperity Partnership. What is that program all about?
Okay, the Pinellas Prosperity Partnership has been around for about a dozen years, previously known as the Wealth Building Coalition, and it's comprised of about 40 different organizations, nonprofits, government departments, even for-profits that are all dedicated to helping increase the financial health of Pinellas County residents, helping people make more of what they have, and those services come in the form of everything from home buying education, like you've talked about a lot, and even things like more affordable financial products, any kind of financial education, and of course free tax preparation through the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program. One of the key partners in the Pinellas Prosperity Partnership is United Way Suncoast, and this year they've stepped forward to take on the coordination of the Pinellas County Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, the VITA program, and as they do in Hillsborough and other local counties. So we're really excited to that partnership is there, and that all of these organizations come together to help people in Pinellas County, low to moderate income people, make more of what they have so that they can prosper.
And I think one of the successes of your program is the fact that you do have so many partnerships with community organizations. And that brings me to one of my next questions, and that is, how did the Juvenile Welfare Board get involved in this program?
JWB started our involvement with helping get the word out about the Earned Income Tax Credit, which we'll talk some more about. That was probably 20 years ago when we started helping get that word out. And then over the years, through our involvement in the Wealth Building Coalition and then Pinellas Prosperity Partnership, we become more involved in the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Administration part of it. And the reason JWB is really involved in that is because we're dedicated to strengthening Pinellas County families. And part of that is making sure that parents have more resources for their kids. We want to, make sure parents, have the money they need to buy school supplies and clothes for school and things like that. So this is something that it's not JWB's core mission, but it definitely supports what we want to do in the community, and it helps families help themselves get stronger.
And sometimes it might be just, as you mentioned earlier, all the great educational components with the campaign, and just being able to know what those resources are and pointing people in the right direction.
Yeah.
Now, the Earned Income Tax Credit, we mentioned earlier that might be a benefit that people may not even be aware that they are entitled to. Tell us about that.
Yeah, some estimates say that as many as 20% of the people who are eligible for the Earned Income Tax Credit don't claim it. And that's a shame because that's money that you've earned. It's the Earned Income Tax Credit. You have to have income coming from a job in order to qualify for it. That's one of the qualifications. So it's money that you've earned, and we'd like to make sure that all the people in Pinellas County that qualify for that claim it, because it can make a big difference for a family. You can, in 2011, just to show you how many people do qualify for it, 26 million people got the credit in 2011 and earned nearly $59 billion in credits through that. And for tax year 2014, this credit can be worth up to $6,143 for a household. And you can earn up to $52,427 in 2014 to qualify for it. So your income doesn't have to be extremely low to get it, and your credit can be very high. How much you get and whether you qualify depends on income, and it depends on whether or not you have children in the family and some other factors. But like I said, about 20% of people don't claim it. Sometimes, some reasons for that are that maybe a family situation has changed. Maybe somebody has not qualified for it before, but now they have a grandchild that they're taking care of as the primary caregiver. Now, all of a sudden, they might qualify. Or maybe a job situation has changed, or marital status. There are a number of reasons that somebody might not realize they qualify for it. So it's great to check. IRS.gov has a page dedicated to the EITC. You can go on IRS.gov and find out if you qualify.
Boy, that's really important and kind of startling news when you consider the number of people who may not be aware that they are entitled to that and could be upwards of $6,000. I know that could could do a lot for a family.
It sure could. And the earned income tax credit is not only good for those who receive it, but good for the community as well. Can you explain more about how our community benefits from this program?
Well, those dollars that people can get through the EITC are largely going to be spent locally. They're going to be spent at local businesses. They're going to keep people in their jobs. They're going to create jobs. And that's a big boost to the local economy.
Yes.
Just last year, there were total refunds through the VITA program were over $6 million. Not all of that is EITC, but a big chunk of it is. So that's money that gets pumped right into the Pinellas County economy, and we'd rather see that money spent here in Pinellas County than just not coming into the county. It makes a big difference, and there are other ripple effects for it too. When people get that money, if they're struggling, it helps them, put a roof on their house. It helps them get clothes and school supplies for their kids, which helps those kids do better in school, and that really benefits everyone in the community in the long run.
It can really be a boom to a household right when they need the help the most.
Definitely.
That's great. That's great. You were speaking a little bit about the participation last year and the tax dollars. Is there anything else that you can tell us about benefits or amounts or anything?
As far as credits go and benefits, locally last year we served 3,746 returns, filed that many returns for, as I said, over $6 million. And a big difference this year is that a new feature that we have is most of our sites, or all of our sites, have always closed on or before April 15th, the tax deadline. Well, last year, the Daystar Life Center for the first time became a year-round tax site. People that filed for extensions, or maybe they found out that they qualified for something in a prior year that they didn't get, they could go to Daystar and file those prior year returns. And the volunteers down there at Daystar filed 405 returns after April 15th last year. So we think that's a big new benefit to the community there, that you can go back and do that. A lot of people that had some real concerns about some things with their taxes were able to go there and get helped, and that put a lot of people put a lot of their minds at ease.
Well, let's talk about those sites. These are I think you call them the VITA sites, and those are free tax preparation sites. What does VITA stand for?
It stands for Volunteer Income Tax Assistance. It's an IRS program where they partner with local organizations to provide the service. And
these are all trained volunteers. They have, I assume, a tax background or accounting backgrounds?
You don't have to have a tax background to be a VITA volunteer. I do it, and I've never before had any tax background, but you do receive excellent training. The VITA volunteers that do taxes do have to pass certification tests in order to volunteer. Last year we had over 100 volunteers, I think close to 125 volunteers, and the IRS provides free lessons online, and we have training materials that we can provide potential volunteers to support them in that learning. And that's how we're able to do it for free, is that it's the volunteers, because it could cost $200, $300, $400 to go pay to have a tax return done, and for families with low and moderate incomes, that's a big chunk of their return.
A huge help, yeah. That's wonderful. Now, I know people need to bring some key documentation with them when they go to one of the VITA sites. Can you tell us briefly what they might need to bring, or where can they find information on what they need to bring?
First, I'll mention where you can go to find the list. It's the United Way VITA website is uwsuncoast.org/free-tax-help. And at that site, you can find a map with the location of all the Hillsborough Pinellas VITA sites, as well as a list of everything to bring. The thing that most frequently people come to the VITA sites without is their social security cards. And we have to the volunteers are required to see the social security card for the taxpayer, as well as anybody else, spouse or dependents on that tax return. It's not enough just to know the numbers. It's a requirement to actually show that card to the volunteers. and of course, photo ID is the other thing, and then the things that you would expect, like the W-2 forms, the 1099s, things that show your income. If you paid mortgage interest or real estate taxes, you might benefit from itemizing your return. So you need to bring that 1098 that shows how much you spent on those things. That goes for tuition, student loans, daycare expenses as well. Bring all those forms along with you, but don't forget the photo ID and the Social Security cards. And all of that is listed at the uwsuncoast.org/free-tax-help website.
Very good reminders.
That's great. I know there's some other changes this year relating to the Affordable Care Act. What do we need to be aware of as we begin working on our 2014 taxes?
Well, the main thing is if you had coverage throughout the year, just be prepared to tell the volunteers that if you did not have coverage at any time throughout the year for yourself, your dependents, your spouse, then the volunteers have a series of questions that they're going to ask to determine whether or not you qualify for an exemption, because there is I think it's called the shared responsibility costs that some people might have to pay on their taxes this year. Mm-hmm. But the volunteers are trained and they will go through that checklist and determine whether or not you qualify for any of those exemptions. There's a number of them. It could be that you didn't earn enough money. It could be that the cost of finding qualified health coverage was more than a certain percentage of your gross income. But the volunteers are there to ask you a series of questions to help figure that out for you.
That's great. That's great. Let's give folks a little more information about how to get additional information.
Well, the IRS.gov website is great. That's where you can go to find out if you qualify for the Earned Income Tax Credit. You can call 211 to find out where the sites are in Pinellas County and when they're open. We have 12 full-time sites. One of them closes at the end of March, so now we're talking about 11 for the rest of the tax year, and then Daystar for after that. But the uwsuncoast.org/free-tax-help website is the good comprehensive place to go, where you can find out where all the sites are. You can find information about how to volunteer if you'd like to do that. It may sound daunting, but with all the training that's available and all the support, it's really an enjoyable experience. And even if you've had no tax background, you can do this.
And a great way for people to get involved and give back to the community and help people become even more successful.
Absolutely.
So great information there. Well, now that Eddie has helped us save money on our taxes, we may have a little bit of money that we can actually do some landscaping. And Brian, let's bring you into the conversation. Great. And tell us about April being Conservation Month. I mean, you usually think, April showers bring May flowers, but now we're talking about conservation. So how does that all fit?
Yeah, well, many parts of the country, April showers might bring May flowers, but in the Tampa Bay area, April and November are typically our two driest months of the year. So in November, it's getting cooler and your plants don't need quite as much water to survive. So April, on the other hand, it's hot, it's dry, outdoor water conservation really goes up in April to keep up with the growth demands of our plant material. So that's how April became Water Conservation Month. And so the idea is that we're going to educate citizens about how they can help save the natural resources, our water supply. And 2015 is actually the 17th anniversary of April as Water Conservation Month in Florida. So it's kind of a statewide thing. The water management districts all adopt proclamations, and then it sort of trickles down from there.
I had no idea that it had been that many years. That's really interesting.
I didn't either. And how is Pinellas County recognizing Water Conservation Month?
The Board of County Commissioners adopted a proclamation at the March 24th meeting. So it's certainly recognized by our county leaders, and we certainly appreciate that. It makes our job a little bit easier, when we've got the support of the county leadership.
Exactly. And what would you like people to know about water conservation? You already told us a little bit about the plants needing to have the water, but it's also our driest month. Anything else, and why it is so important?
Yeah, well, think about us. We, as humans, need water to survive, so we are kind of the highest and best users of water, certainly in my mind anyway. Yet most of the irrigation systems that we have in Pinellas County use potable drinking quality water to water the landscape. And research shows that in homes that have an in-ground system, about half of the water bill goes to outdoor use. So you think about, water right from the tap, you're taking half of your water bill and putting it outside. So, getting back to saving money, if you're paying directly for that water cost, you can save a lot of money by looking at outdoor water conservation. That's probably the best way to start looking at reducing your water bill is, am I using water outside that I'm paying for?
Well, can you give us some kind of quick tips on what we might be able to do to be part of the conservation effort?
I would be happy to. Ideally, you want to create a landscape that doesn't need supplemental irrigation once the plants are established. And that's really important. We get a lot of people that call and say, I put this really drought-tolerant plant in and, it died. What happened? Even the most drought-tolerant plants need some water to get established in their new home. So you think about if we move somewhere, it takes us a while to get comfortable with our new home. Plants are the same way. They need about 5 to 6 months of pretty regular watering before they're going to be established and able to survive on their own without that supplemental irrigation.
Well, that answers a lot of questions about what's happening at my house.
I was just thinking the same thing.
So, but if you do have a sprinkler system and you find that you do need to water your landscape, you want to make sure that you have a rain shutoff device. So these are required by law on all automatic irrigation systems. A lot of people don't know that. Even irrigation contractors still aren't real clear on that requirement. And what this does is it prevents the system from running, either while it's raining or, a day after it's rained. So there's a lot of water savings potential there, and just making sure you have a rain shutoff device that's working. And, there's a couple different kinds, and you really want to look at a soil moisture sensor. So what this does is it measures the content of the moisture in the soil, and then it won't allow the system to run, depending on the threshold you set it at. And that can save 30 to 50% right off the top of your water bill just installing that device.
Wow.
So that's a good place to start.
That's a significant savings right there.
That is a whole lot of savings. Now, we talked a little bit about what we can do as homeowners, residents, but how about businesses? Are you also looking at them to participate in this effort?
Absolutely. But businesses have landscapes and irrigation systems too, and sometimes they're even prone to maybe waste a little bit more water because the managers maybe aren't really looking at the landscape. They're sort of just relying upon a landscape contractor who might not be looking at the irrigation system. So you want to make sure that you've got, you don't have any broken sprinklers, misdirected spray heads. You just want to make sure that all the water going through the sprinklers is actually going to the plants. We don't want to water
The street.
the street and the sides of buildings. Yeah. So, and you don't want to assume that your landscape contractor is looking for those problems unless, if you're not asking him, he or she is probably not doing that. So really, it's a good idea to take a look at that irrigation system and make sure it's working as well as it can.
And, I wanted to kind of go back a little bit where you talked about getting the right plants for the landscape if you want to do the Florida friendly. But it also really makes a huge difference on where you plant it, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah, that, if people are only going to remember one thing from a landscape class, if I have the elevator pitch, it's, to put the right plant in the right place and really understand your site conditions and the plant material that you're using in that site, because that's going to really help in the long term. Your plants are going to be healthier. You're going to need less water, less fertilizer, less pesticides, and then it's going to be a lot less work for you too. So really, understand your site and the plants that you're using.
It gets kind of confusing though, because you go to a store and you see all these beautiful plants and you say, oh, I'd really love that in my flower beds, or that'd be a great, addition to the landscape, or I love that kind of tree. But you really have to think that through, don't you?
You do, yeah. That site analysis, you really want to understand your site and then choose plants that are going to fit your site. Oftentimes we have people who, want to sort of change their site to fit the plant material they think they want to grow. Example of that, oftentimes we'll have people say, oh, I want to grow grass and I've got this pesky oak tree. I think I'm going to cut it down so I can grow grass. And, really we don't want to do that. We want to grow plants that will do well in the shade of that oak tree. So it's really choosing plants that will fit the site conditions that you have. So we in carpentry we talk about measuring twice and cutting once. In landscape design we want to plan twice and then only plant once, so we're not constantly pulling things up and moving them around.
That's very, very good information.
Yeah, good advice there.
I know Extension has a lot of great classes. I've actually taken several out there and just really enjoyed them. Can you describe some of the programs that you've got going relating to conservation?
Sure, and I'd actually like to back up and just give a little background on Extension, if I could, for
Please.
listeners who might not be familiar. Extension is part of the land-grant university system. So in Florida, that's the University of Florida is our land-grant. And we're actually celebrating our 100th birthday this year.
Congratulations.
Yeah. I don't look a day over 35, right? So the three parts of that land grant mission, though, are teaching, research, and then the third part is extension. So bringing the knowledge, the teaching, and the research of the university to the citizens. So every county in Florida has an extension office, and every state in the country has an extension service attached to it. So, and it's not just horticulture, it's food, it's money, information. 4-H is a part of Extension that a lot of people know 4-H, but maybe they don't know it's an Extension program.
I didn't know that. Good to learn.
So, we've got a lot of programs going on. Our website is PinellasCountyExtension.org. We have a calendar on there that has all of our different programs. We have 9 faculty members in Pinellas County doing programs all throughout the county, so pretty much every day of the week and certainly every weekend there's a program that's going on. Specifically in the landscaping realm, though, we have a series of classes called Waterwise Landscaping that we teach at the Extension office in Largo, and it's one Saturday a month, and it's a different set of topics every month. So the idea is that people can come multiple times. We start to establish relationships with residents. That's really key. We want to be accessible to people and, help really have relationships with the community. So the next one is on April 18th, and we'll be talking about drought-tolerant plants and composting. So two, pretty interesting topics, and we have different speakers every time. It's usually myself and then somebody else. So we really want to just get people out. We try and make it pretty hands-on and interesting. So maybe we'll build a compost bin. Maybe we'll put some stuff into a bin. We're not really sure what's going to happen yet, but
that's great.
Well, such great information, and unfortunately, we are really running out of time. But before we close, Brian, I know that Green Thumb Festival is coming up, one of my very favorite events that takes place. Give us a real quick overview about that program, and you guys are going to be there, right?
We'll be there. Yep, that is, I believe, April 25th and 26th. That's a program or a festival put on by the city of St. Pete, and people come from far and wide all over the Bay Area and beyond. There's all kinds of plant vendors. You can get garden art. There's great talks. I'll be there giving a couple of talks on rainwater harvesting. You can get your soil tested. So there's all kinds of great things there. It's a 2-day event. Saturday morning is really busy. People bring their wagons and their carts, and you might have to walk about a quarter mile on Saturday morning, but Sunday's not quite so busy.
And I can tell you from personal experience, it is a great event, and I would encourage anybody who's curious to make sure you get out there. You can learn a lot, and a lot of great people to talk to, and make sure you get the right plant in the right location.
That's right.
They'll help you with that. I want to thank both of our guests for the really informative information that we received today. Eddie Burch with the Juvenile Welfare Board and Brian Niemann with Pinellas County Extension. Also want to give a shout out to our folks at Pinellas County Communications Department and, of course, WRXB 1590 AM. We sure look forward to having you join us next month. And if you missed any part of this show or want to catch past shows, check us out on the website or YouTube. I'm Jane Merlin.
And I'm Carmen Lemberg.
Thanks for tuning in. Make it a great day.